There's a quiet kind of heroism that rarely gets applause, a strength that grows in the middle of sleepless nights and chaotic mornings, a resilience built not in grand achievements but in the smallest, almost invisible wins. If you've ever wondered what it truly means to raise two lives at the same time, to double the love while navigating double the challenge, then you're about to step into a world few truly understand. This is not about perfection, nor about picture-perfect moments, but about the powerful reality of small victories that only parents of twins can recognize. The kind of victories that don't trend, don't go viral, but shape lives forever. And once you see them, you'll never look at parenting the same way again. In a world obsessed with big milestones and dramatic transformations, it's easy to overlook the quiet triumphs that define real life, especially for parents of twins. These are the moments that don't make headlines but carry the deepest meaning. The kind that build patience, resilience, and unconditional love in ways that can't be measured. Today we're diving into those hidden achievements, the small victories that may seem ordinary to outsiders but are extraordinary to those living them every day. If you're a parent, or even just curious about the unseen side of raising twins, this story will open your eyes and heart. And if this resonates with you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with someone who needs to feel seen and understood. The journey of parenting twins begins not with a single transformation, but with an overwhelming realization that life will never again move at a predictable pace, because from the very first moment, everything doubles. Not just the diapers or the feedings, but the emotions, the responsibilities, and the silent expectations placed upon oneself to somehow manage it all with grace, even when chaos feels like the only constant. And yet, in the middle of that overwhelming shift, the first small victory appears almost unnoticed. The moment when both babies fall asleep at the same time, not by accident but by intention. And suddenly, for a brief, fragile window, there is silence, a silence that feels like a reward earned through persistence, trial, and quiet determination. As the days blur into nights and routines begin to form out of necessity rather than planning, another victory emerges, subtle yet powerful. When a parent learns to soothe both children without panic, when instinct replaces hesitation and confidence grows in spaces once filled with doubt, because handling one crying baby can feel overwhelming, but calming two at once requires a level of emotional balance that is rarely taught and only developed through experience. It is in these moments that parents begin to understand that their strength is not something they were born with, but something they are actively building, one small success at a time. There is also a unique triumph in synchronization, a quiet celebration when feeding schedules align, when naps happen in harmony, when for a brief moment life feels coordinated rather than chaotic. And although this might seem insignificant to someone outside this experience, for parents of twins, it represents control in a situation that often feels uncontrollable, a sign that effort is turning into rhythm, and that rhythm is slowly transforming into something sustainable, something that allows space not just for survival, but for presence, for connection, and even for moments of rest. Among the countless challenges, there is an emotional milestone that stands out deeply, the moment when guilt begins to fade, when parents stop questioning whether they are giving enough to each child and start recognizing that love does not divide, it multiplies, and that even in moments where attention must be split, the bond being formed is just as strong, just as meaningful, because each child is growing not only with individual love but also with the shared experience of always having someone by their side from the very beginning. Another victory appears in the smallest acts of independence, when one child learns to wait, even for just a few seconds, while the other is being attended to, because patience becomes a shared language in a household with twins. And this patience, though often born out of necessity, becomes a powerful life skill, one that shapes not only the children but also the parent, teaching them to manage time, energy, and emotions with a level of awareness that goes far beyond typical parenting experiences. There is a quiet pride in mastering logistics, in leaving the house with two babies and returning without feeling completely defeated, because what seems like a simple outing is, in reality, a carefully executed operation, requiring planning, adaptability, and a mindset that accepts unpredictability as part of the process. and each successful outing becomes a reminder that progress is happening, that confidence is growing, and that what once felt impossible is slowly becoming manageable. As the months pass, another small but meaningful victory arises in communication. When parents begin to distinguish between cries, between needs, between personalities, recognizing that even though twins share a beginning, they are individuals with unique voices, and this understanding transforms caregiving into connection, allowing each child to feel seen and understood, even in a shared environment, reinforcing the idea that individuality can thrive even in the closest of bonds. Sleep, often fragmented and unpredictable, becomes another area where small victories shine, not in achieving perfect nights, but in gaining an extra hour, in finding a rhythm that allows for slightly longer rest. And these incremental improvements carry immense weight, because sleep is not just about rest, it is about recovery, about maintaining the mental and emotional capacity to continue showing up, to continue giving, even when energy feels limited. There is also a powerful victory in resilience, in the ability to face difficult days without losing hope, because not every moment will be balanced. Not every plan will succeed, and yet continuing despite exhaustion becomes a testament to a strength that is constantly evolving, a strength that does not rely on perfection but on persistence, on the willingness to try again, to adjust, to keep moving forward even when the path feels uncertain. Joy, too, takes on a different form, appearing not in grand celebrations but in shared smiles, in the first time both children laugh together, in the simple act of watching them interact. And these moments, though fleeting, hold a depth that is difficult to describe, because they represent connection, not just between parent and child, but between the children themselves, creating a dynamic that is unique, powerful, and deeply moving. Another victory lies in adaptability, in learning to let go of rigid expectations and embracing flexibility, because parenting twins rarely follows a fixed script, and the ability to adjust, to shift plans, to respond rather than react becomes an essential skill, one that reduces stress and increases presence, allowing parents to engage more fully with each moment rather than constantly trying to control it. There is also growth in self-awareness, in recognizing personal limits and learning when to ask for help, understanding that strength does not mean doing everything alone, but knowing when support is needed. And this shift in perspective not only benefits the parent but creates a healthier environment for the children, where balance and well-being are prioritized over unrealistic standards. Time management becomes an art, a delicate balance between efficiency and care, where every minute counts. And yet, within that structure, parents learn to find moments of connection, to pause, even briefly, and appreciate the journey, because while the days may feel long, the phases pass quickly, and each stage brings its own set of challenges and rewards. There is also a profound victory in identity, in maintaining a sense of self while navigating the demands of parenting, in remembering that being a parent of twins is a part of who you are, not the entirety, and finding ways to reconnect with personal passions and interests becomes an essential part of sustaining long-term well-being. Support systems, whether from family, friends, or community, become invaluable, and recognizing their importance is another small victory, because it shifts the narrative from isolation to connection, from carrying everything alone to sharing the journey. And this shared experience not only lightens the load but enriches it, adding layers of understanding and empathy. As twins grow, the victories evolve, moving from survival to connection, from routine to relationship. And watching their bond develop becomes one of the most rewarding aspects of the journey, because it is a connection that is both independent of and deeply influenced by the environment created by the parent. Ultimately, the greatest victory is not found in any single moment, but in the accumulation of all these small wins, in the realization that progress is happening, that growth is constant, and that even on the hardest days, there is something to be proud of, something to hold on to, something that proves that this journey, while challenging, is also profoundly meaningful. In the end, the story of parenting twins is not written in perfect days or flawless routines, but in the quiet accumulation of small victories that shape both the parent and the children in ways that words can barely capture. These are the moments that build resilience, deepen love, and redefine what it means to truly show up for another human being. And perhaps the most powerful realization of all is that these small victories, often unnoticed by the world, are in fact the foundation of something extraordinary. Because in embracing them, in valuing them, we begin to understand that greatness is not always loud. Sometimes it is found in the quiet persistence of doing your best, twice at a time.